Hi, welcome to my on-demand for Friday, December 19th for Fine Arts. Today our lesson title was George Seurat and Pointillism. That is a technique used in art and it was developed by George Seurat. You will focus on subject matter while learning ways that art tells us about a particular time and place. And then you will be creating an artwork using Pointillism, and you will become familiar with George Seurat and his artwork Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jetée. Georges Pierre Seurat was born on December 2nd, 1859 in Paris. A painter, a founder of the 19th century French school of Neo-Impressionism, whose technique for portraying the play of light using tiny brush strokes of contrasting colors became known as Pointillism. Using this technique, he created huge compositions with tiny, detached strokes of pure color, too small to be distinguished when looking at the entire work, but making his paintings shimmer with brilliance. Looking at this painting, this is Georges Seurat, Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jetée. And normally we would talk about what was happening, but I want you to look closely at the trees, because in the trees and on the ground you can see the teeny tiny little dots that he used. And you'll be watching a movie clip for homework where you'll see this painting and with Maddie and Dada, and you'll see how he creates this technique, and then you'll see another movie clip actually demonstrating this technique, and it's just a teeny tiny dot on the canvas of different colors. When you stand far away enough backwards from it, it becomes more of a solid color. But he used this is very, very painstaking to create this entire artwork using tiny dots of paint. This is one of his most famous works, and it's an example of Pointillism that's widely considered to be one of the most remarkable paintings of the 19th century, belonging to the post-Impressionism period. Motivated by the study in optical and color theory, he contrasted miniature dots of colors that through optical unification form a single hue in the viewer's eye. He believed that this form of painting, known as Pointillism, would make the colors more brilliant and powerful than standard brush strokes. So none of this was done by dragging the brush. This whole entire painting was done by little tiny dots of paint. To make the experience of the painting even more vivid, he surrounded it with a frame of painted dots, which in turn he enclosed with a pure white wooden frame, which is how the painting is exhibited today at the Art Institute of Chicago. And yes, there is a monkey down at the bottom of the lady's dress. I don't have a pointer because I'm not in Blackboard, but there's a monkey down there and a dog, and you can see how different times were back then. You don't see the trash cans and the park benches. People are dressed very, very fancy. It's a Sunday. They're all dressed up. They're all off of work. They're having picnics, and the women would carry umbrellas, and the men top hats and canes. The animals are running around without leashes, and there's some boats and things in the water. Of course, today you'd probably see some jet skis and things like that. That would have been one of our assignments, to talk about what it might look like today, but we're not going to do that since it's an on-demand. Our glossary term is Pointillism, a school of painters who have used a technique of painting with tiny dots of pure colors that would blend in the viewer's eye, developed by Georges Seurat and his followers in the late 19th century France. There are two clips for you in Brain Honey. One is on Pointillism and the other one is um, George Seurat and Maddie and Dada, and they talk about pointillism as well. This is your template you'll be filling in for homework using tiny, tiny dots of color. So you can fill in the flower using tiny dots. Can't seem to find my pencil since I'm not in my blackboard, but you would just do little tiny dots. It's due December 23rd. Watch the 2 movies attached in Brain Honey so you can see the demonstration of the use of the dots, so you'll know what you're doing. And then complete the pointillism flower using the template attached. It will look just like that one I just showed you. You can copy and paste that into Paint. Using colors of your own choice, fill in the flower using small dots called pointillism. Of course, you can resize it. You can use any program you want. If you can print it out and do it by hand, you can use any medium, any crayons or markers or pencils, colored pencils. But I wouldn't do it by hand if you don't have a working scanner because you won't be able to turn it in. So as always, feel free to copy and paste it into any program you want to. 6 points for using the pointillism technique and 4 for color. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you in 2015.